Hello guys, this is gonna be an Elden Ring first impression video actually. It's not gonna be a review really, so do not see it as a review actually. Um, I'm gonna just talk about my first impressions. I've been streaming Elden Ring an entire week. I started last Saturday, not this yesterday, but last Saturday. So yeah, I wanted to wait 1 week at least before doing some kind of first impressions video. Um, I want to start with saying uh, the controls and the mechanics are very similar to Dark Souls. The series, I think I like that actually. When I first arrived at Limgrave, I understood that it's gonna be a huge open world game. Uh, I wasn't super curious in the beginning actually, because I didn't understand how big the map was and stuff like that. Like, uh, and I also like so it took some time to get into the exploration and stuff. I wasn't actually super curious in the beginning. I was excited, but not like super hyped at exploring so that much that it actually takes. So uh, the very first area of Limgrave feels a little bit different to the other Souls games. Like it's actually very calming, peaceful, beautiful nature. Uh, I like the addition of crafting and adding like animals and wildlife into the environment. That makes it feel more alive. You know, not only enemies but like other life forms. You know, all these details making it feel more alive. I really like that, to be honest. I like that there's a like the open world is much bigger than you first expect or first like think, you know. And yeah, usually I do not like side quests super much, but in this game I really enjoy doing everything else than the story. So they actually did succeed with that, you know. It's equally as fun to do other stuff than the uh, uh, than the story basically. So um, although like and also it's a nice idea with sub areas, you know, actually in areas. Um, uh, I have been missing a little bit um, the detailed level design, or more linearity that I've seen in older titles, in previous Dark Souls titles. Um, it's not as easy to hide enemies behind the corners and do like interesting obstacles courses with traps, etc. in an open world environment. Although they do still have this linearity in level design in other stuff than the overworld. They do have dungeons and caves like that with um, yeah, with bosses or treasures usually. I like that the dungeons are like Bloodborne style. You know, you have to look for a lever or a switch to unlock a boss room. Usually, the boss room is at the bottom of the dungeons often. It is fun to look for a lever to fight bosses. Although the enemies so far in all the different catacombs are mostly the same all the time, which is a little bit boring maybe. Sometimes the catacombs are also really short. I think it's, and I hope it's only the few catacombs in the beginning that I have been doing. You know, I haven't been playing more than a week, so hopefully it's just the starting catacombs or dungeons that I've found. But mostly so far, the dungeons or catacombs are really short. Uh, sometimes the catacombs are like literally just 2 stairs, and then that's it. But I do like that the catacombs or dungeons are basically the obstacle courses with traps and smart hidden enemies, uh, like what I'm used to in previous Dark Souls titles. So they have that as well in these games, just in dungeons rather than the open world. And I like that. I also feel that the open world is a little bit empty at points. Not like a little bit repetitive, you know, at least like the Limgrave. Um, I expected or thought that it was gonna be only grass fields all over the entire world, which I then found out is not true actually. There's some variation in overworld areas as well. This will be a spoiler-free first impressions, but I just want to say that uh, even though this peaceful, calming grassland fields is maybe not what I expected from a dark fantasy game from FromSoft. It's way too relaxing actually. But without spoiling too much, there is other overworld areas or bigger areas in the overworld map that is actually the difference to very different too, and that has more dark and fucked up themes like you're used to. So there is, I think there's more areas maybe than the one I found, but I found another area which is like dark and very creepy and with horrible nightmarish creatures and enemies like you're used to in the previous titles. So and that when I found that area, I was really glad because I thought that there's only gonna be grass fields. The landscapes are only gonna be grass fields, and I know that's very repetitive and a little bit empty as well. But this place, when I found this place, I was actually getting more and more hyped very quickly, you know, because this is what I've been missing so far in the game, you know. I want the dark, fucked up things. Uh, and let's see. Yeah, it was a high level area, so I was getting wrecked by absolutely everything. So I was just riding my horse, getting away from there, you know. I arrived there by a very special, in a special way, by the way. I'm not gonna spoil that either, but there is some things that can take you to other places far away. Let's see. Ever since yeah. Um, let's see. I'm not sure if I think Dark Souls works in such an open world because of what was fun and exciting. Dark Souls was the level design once again that punished just going straight ahead with enemies and traps carefully placed to surprise and challenge you. But you exactly, and this is hard to produce in or to make in an open world environment. So I think that's why they have dungeons as well. This is easier because the dungeons are more linear. So for the bosses have been pretty fun, but also really hard. I expected nothing less. Although what feels a little bit off, which of course might be something to get used to, but still bothers me a little bit. I've been a lot of other people on Reddit, for example, complaining about is the fact that you move and dodge very slow, even though bosses move very fast and can have up to 10 hit combos. There's also some weird input delay or unresponsiveness when it comes to the dodge, it feels like. It seems that the dodge doesn't happen as soon as you press it, as with DS3. It's either that or some lingering hitboxes, but the dodge actually feels a little bit like not as bad as Dark Souls 2, but it feels a clunky in an old style Dark Souls way. Maybe it's platform dependent, that input delay, you know. Someone said it's waiting for too long too. to check if you sprint, because the dodge and sprint is double bound to the same button or key. It's like the speed of the bosses and player doesn't match and it gets wrongly calculated. I don't know. Then there's the mechanic of crouch and jump. I'm not sure what the plan is, but right now it feels a little like they're just trying to combine Dark Souls with any generic open world game. You can just grab any Dark Souls word and slap on Dark Souls skin onto it. And then there's a few 3D models that are straightly just copy pasted or exported from Dark Souls 3, which is a little bit lazy, to be honest. I have a hard time like finding what Elden Ring's. I don't think Elden Ring really has its own identity. I don't know if it's trying to be Sekiro or Dark Souls, or like if it's trying to mash these things together, which doesn't really work because they don't explain the mechanics so well, actually. And like the special mechanic in this game is the shield block counter attack. And you almost have to use that because you get a visceral or a strong attack after blocking. If you block and then counter with your heavy attack, then you will get like a strong attack or a visceral. And it feels weird to force the player to play like this actually. It's also hard to use, like there's a hidden like stance or posture mechanic meter in the game for enemies. So you have to break their stance. You have to stagger enemies as fast as possible. But it doesn't really work that well because the player, once again, is really slow. And you have to use heavy attacks in order to stagger them quickly, or like the block counter. And it's hard to perform this since the player is very slow. So you often will get hit while doing this. So that's a really weird thing, to be honest. They don't explain it very good, actually. And then I think the HUD actually is a little bit too similar. It also feels copy-pasted from Dark Souls 3, maybe. That's a little bit weird, maybe. I think there's gonna be more areas than the ones two I found, like overworld areas. In the other one, as I said, I think it's I feel very much creeped out and like it's dark and mysterious and fucked up like I want these games to be. But once again, the Limgrave World opening area, I feel only peace and these never-ending fields. I never feel anything else, which is not good at all. Yeah, I think that's it actually. Although I am really hyped for the game still. I think even though there's input delay, once you start to learn, I've started to use the counter block attack and jump attacks like they want me to do more now. And it's been going much better. It's been going quite bad before that. So I think I am starting to enjoy it more and more. It's much bigger than I expected, so it feels good that you can explore and always find new things to do. I think that's really good because it's hard to 100% the game, and I think that's a good thing actually because then you can almost play forever actually, almost. So that's really I enjoy it. I think the graphics are good, but they're not like it's not a huge step up from Dark Souls 3 or Bloodborne. But it works. It's still looking beautiful, and the areas are, yeah. So I also think that this linearity that I'm looking for will happen more in castles. I've been only to 2 castles, but it feels like these areas also have a little bit more level design linearity with traps and enemies like that. So I think that will be all right. It's interesting that riding your horse felt a little bit weird or clumsy, or I didn't know why I would need to ride my horse. But I've been noticing that there's enemies that's really fast and that are flying, etc. So you actually do need it at some points, and of course you also move faster while on horseback, right? I'm not sure why you can fast travel at all points. It would feel better if you could fast travel only between the graces, lost graces, sites of grace, the newer bonfire system. Because there's also very, very many graces. They're really generous with these checkpoints. So maybe you should only be able to fast travel between these, because it's a little bit of fast travel. You can do it at all points. Not down in dungeons though. I like that they disable that down in dungeons. That makes sense, right? And yeah, I think that's it. I've been struggling a lot with the first or the second story boss. So the story bosses really like forces you to go somewhere else before. I'm not sure if I like that the very second or first mandatory hard boss does that. I'm not sure if it's a good thing. But once again, as I said, I really enjoy exploring the other. Yeah, I really enjoy doing side quests, etc. It actually feels as good as doing story. I'm not one that never does side quests, but I'm usually one that is most interested in the story and do side quests now and then only. But at this point, in this game, I actually feel like it's very interesting doing all kinds of other stuff, actually. Mostly it's finding new areas or bosses, though, but it still works out, I guess. So I'm gonna continue playing. I will be streaming now Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays for PM CET. So if you want to check out, I will continue streaming Elden Ring at these days. Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, 4 PM CET. Thank you so much for listening, and this is once again my first impression. It's not a review. I'm gonna see and experience and learn more, which absolutely will change my feelings. But all over, it's a good and interesting game. I have to say. I think they can manage to pull things off here. Anyways, even though it's the areas are a little bit empty now and then and repetitive now and then, the overworld areas. So that's it. Thank you for listening, and I will see you on the streams then. Thank you and goodbye.